King Phoebus and his people osmose their most brackish gratitude. We get our second Edosian character, and somebody's been going past warp 10. Anthony. Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Seventh Rule with Cirroc Lofton.
Hello, hello.
With us is our very extremely amazingly special guest, Miss Malissa Longo.
Only somewhat amazing.
Somewhat amazing.
She nibbles on corn chips and salsa. My name is Ryan T. Husk, and today we are doing a review of Season 1, Episode 7 of Lower Decks, called Much Ado About Boimler. Boim me up, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Now, the Warp 10 reference was that in Voyager, one of the earlier episodes, Tom Paris and Captain Janeway go past Warp 10 and they turn into space salamanders, some kind of amphibian for sure. And Anthony, that salamander-looking guy on the farm ship, was the spitting image of that, telling us that Anthony must have been going past Warp 10 and turned into that salamander creature just like they did. And that Edosian that was, kind of the boss of the farm ship, we could talk a little bit more about him, but he should have just asked, the people of Voyager how they fixed that, because they could have gotten him back. Anyway, so what do you guys think about this episode, by the way?
It was all right. It wasn't my favorite.
Second?
No, not my second favorite. It's farther down. It was okay. There were some things, the reasons why I didn't like it, and one of the biggest reasons I didn't like this particular episode was the concept of the dog.
Okay.
That Tendi brought in. So Tendi brought in this dog. She genetically modifies the dog, and it turns into this crazy beast creature, right? And I feel like now on this show, I've seen something convert into a crazy beast creature almost every single episode. And they got to do something different than that on every single episode, because I can't see something can be converted to a beast creature every time. They can have a regular alien that they meet that's unusual. They have the whole unlimited possibilities of animation, so they can go so many different ways. Just for me, it's just like too repetitive so early on in this show for them to always have something that just turns into a wild, crazy, out of control beast.
Your thoughts on that, Melissa? Longo?
I could see that. I can agree with that. I like animals, so I like the dog, but I also don't think there was necessary. I don't know what the point was of it. It didn't really drive the story further, because Boimler was already going to the farm, so
Right, they didn't need the dog, right?
Yeah, unless it was supposed to show an aspect of Tendi's character, but
it was kind of a C plot, right?
Yeah, yeah, but I don't know that it was necessary.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you, I liked the episode, and I liked the dog thing, but only later, because at first I was like, I don't get it, this is weird. But then when she explains, it's clear that on Orion they don't have dogs, so she doesn't get it. She doesn't know that dogs don't do all these amazing things like spit bats out of their mouth and float and do all this stuff. So that was the explanation, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Now I get it. Now it works. Also, one of my favorite things so far in this series, and I don't know why, was when the dog turned into a cube and just rolled away. That was just one of these random things that creative people come up with. Just creatively random, not just random to be random, but one that actually I was like, okay, that's funny. I like that. Put that in my notes.
I thought it would end right there, though. Actually, so then I was okay with it ending as a cube, and said, all right, well that was a failed idea. But then it came back as the dog again, and then had this conversation with Tendi. I just feel like Tendi's smarter than being oblivious to like the fact that she didn't create an accurate dog. You know what I mean? She's like so technical. She's so smart. She's always like battling Rutherford for who's the smartest and most efficient, and then she's like completely clueless in this particular version of herself.
Right.
And yeah.
And and actually the producers came out and did mention something about this episode because they've been teasing, stuff for a while, and they said, "Oh shoot, sorry, did we say Q would get a cameo? We meant Cube." So
oh no. They actually came out. They did not actually come out and say that. I'm pretty sure that was a whole setup, Melissa. Just for that cute Yeah.
Well, and what got me is that everybody was automatically annoyed with the dog, and I'm assuming they hadn't seen a dog since they left Earth. So I don't know. Their aversion to dogs across the board, I was like, how can every single people not like the dog? Like, I don't know. I see it.
Like, I like the dog.
I'm coming from just from my perspective. It doesn't matter how many times I see a dog, I'm like, oh, it's a dog. If I'm half asleep, oh, it's a dog. And I haven't seen it one in months or years or however long they've been in space, So, and then, and I think I do think it's kind of spectacular that she genetically engineered a dog. She built an entire dog. I mean, that's pretty spectacular in and of itself.
Well, she said most of the time that she was pretending to go to the bathroom, she was really resequencing the DNA or something like that. So there goes that mystery. We're always like, why is Tendi always pooping? But now we know.
Why is she in the bathroom so long?
Yeah.
There were some jokes in there that I liked, though. I like the one they said, you just can't wait to kiss a whole new set of butt.
Yes.
The Boimler. And I like that. I was like, he was like, actually, yes, I can.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
That was kind of funny. And I also like that freaky, weird character that was half old and half young. It was like the Curious Case of Benjamin Button on one half.
Yeah.
And then the sequel to the other half.
Yeah.
So maybe that's his name, Sequel.
That's
Could
funny.
be.
His sister's name is Sequest. But
oh my God. No.
Oh, Ryan.
Oh gosh.
Thumbs up or I think that's a thumbs down.
That's a thumbs. No, I don't think that's a thumbs downer.
I've got like 10 thumbs downs in a row. Boy, oh boy. But the reference early when I mentioned the Edosian was something that the Trek fans have been hoping to see for a while. That was the 3-armed tall alien on the farm ship, kind of like the captain of that farm ship. He's an Edosian, and the way we know that is because in the original animated series from the 70s, one of the lead characters that was actually voiced by Jimmy Doohan was an Edosian named Erix. And we've been surmising that now that we're going back into an animated series, that means they can bring back an Edosian or other alien creatures that are a lot tougher to do, because in live action practice, it'd be really hard to have an Edosian alien because they have a third arm coming out of here and a third leg coming out of their butt or whatever, and 3 fingers. But animated, no problem there. So it was really cool to see that, and the Star Trek fans in the Lower Decks group were very excited about it. Shout out to Andre Kottman, who put it like in all capital letters in his comments. I think he was happy about it too.
Yeah, see, I wish I noticed these references, and I guess that's some of these stuff goes like right past me, like the one you're just mentioning, and also the Voyager reference with the reptilian
Yeah.
creature. So I missed those. I saw them. I saw them on the in the episode. I just didn't know what they were that they were giving out shout outs to past Star Trek episodes.
Yeah, those salamanders are pretty famous in nerd lore because it's the time where Tom Paris and Janeway had babies, but they only had babies as salamanders. So like when they find them on a planet, they see that there's the two of them, and then three little baby salamanders come up, and they're like, "Ooh, it's Janeway and Paris," And it was also a pretty bad episode of Star Trek, so it's kind of a cult classic.
I didn't see that one.
A cult classic is a bad one?
Yeah, sometimes the worst episodes are the ones that Star Trek fans look back with the most fondness. Like there's Sub Rosa on The Next Generation where Beverly Crusher makes love to a ghost, and everybody surmises that maybe she's just a total stoner that just like hallucinates ghosts and like has sex with them and stuff. And there's also for me the worst one was oh man, I always forget what it's called, but it's the one. It's the second season. The writers were on strike for a week, and so they did like a clip show where Riker is sick and he keeps reliving these same dreams, and the doctor has to fix him and whatever. And it's really bad when you have a clip show, but you only have one season to work with. Just kept going like, something's got me. He just kept saying that. But anyway, so we like to look back at the bad.
Yeah, the bad episodes are the ones that sometimes stick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess DS9s would be Move Along Home.
Yes, absolutely. Alan Moraine, like that is the one. You're right, for Deep Space Nine.
Yeah,
that's probably the best one of the hilariously bad Star Trek. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Avery talking about that as his least favorite to perform.
You guys are jumping around. Alan Moraine.
He did not like that. No. He thought it was foolish, and it was foolish when you really look back on it. So he was right.
Next chap. No, everybody starts singing it. Alan Moraine, can't see 10.
The best
I can
part,
just see Grace like, I don't want to do this, God.
Kira,
you better get this on one or two takes because I'm not doing this all day.
I'm telling you, Nana did a great job. I don't know if she was acting, maybe she wasn't acting, of looking like Kira was not pleased about doing the dance. Like she's hopping on one foot. I think maybe she wasn't acting. She was just
she did not like it either.
Alan Moraine, count to 10. Alan Moraine. I can't remember the words, but everyone out there start singing it.
So here's a question for everybody in the comments below, because this is pretty much the most important Star Trek question of all that everybody loves. What is the best, worst Star Trek episode? Like the episode you love to hate, or the episode that you love because it's so bad. There's also Spock's Brain. There's also Next Generation Code of Honor, which is just bad for bad's sake. It's not even like funny bad. It's just terrible. Skin of Evil? No, that's the one where Tasha dies. I can't. And tell us what the name of the episode is where Riker keeps reliving the same thing over and over again in his dream. Is terrible. Anyway,
it's got to be something on the original series too.
That was Spock's Brain is one.
Okay.
What's the one with the kid where he crosses his eyeballs and in the original series, and he's got really curly hair and
jeez.
I don't know. It was really bad. They did a sort of mystery science theater with it on the cruise. It's pretty bad.
That's awesome. We'll find out in the comments, I'm sure, later today. Anyway, so let us know, because that's always a great discussion. What did you guys think about the replacement crew? I thought that was a cool name that Mariner called them, subcaps. like substitute teachers,
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I like that idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's a cool crew. It looked like one of the ladies may have been a Trill. What do you guys think? It was tough to tell because her spots were a different color than Trills usually are. It's like lighter. And one was a Vulcan, and then the boy, what was his name? Like Drudge or something, Trudge, or I can't. Durga. A lot of people were wondering if he was the same alien as Jayla in Star Trek Beyond, the 13th Star Trek movie and third reboot movie. If so, his markings on his face were different than hers, but the makeup was similar. So it could have been. We don't have an answer for that.
And we don't know if that species, because we only saw Jayla in the movie, if the species differs in color from male to female, or if region to region, just like in this planet. So, yeah, I think that's up for interpretation. And I do think it was a Trill, and maybe her spots were lighter because she was blonde.
Yeah, could be.
So she may have been fairer spots. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blonde Trills.
I thought there were a lot of funny. I liked it when the last thing about the Salamander guy, but when they came up close to Anthony, the Salamander guy, and then you could hear his breathing. I don't know why that. Maybe it's just like we're like, what is he, a creep or what?
That's creepy. It reminds me of the leech guy on the X-Files. The big sucker. I don't know if you've watched the X-Files.
Cirroc, you?
I have watched it. I don't remember this character, but I've watched X-Files a little bit.
The sewer guy.
Yeah. Why Much Ado About Boimler? Why do you think they come up with that as a title?
Well, there's a Shakespeare play called Much Ado About Nothing. So, and it was about Boimler because he was the one that got stuck in the transporter thing. I thought that was really cool that they gave him that really obnoxious, really loud sound, that beaming sound. Because I was like, wow, that's really good. And it's also really good that it didn't last through the whole episode because I would have not been able to survive. But they made it last just long enough for us to be happy when they...
Yeah, that was funny. Although I didn't feel like it was a Boimler-centered episode.
No. Just a fun title.
It was a Mariner episode, really.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. It was just a fun title, I think.
Yeah.
I also want to point out... Oh, go ahead, and I'll catch that.
No, I'm just going to bring back the humming sound or whatever annoying sound he was making. I thought that was a little funny joke where he says, oh, "Okay, I fixed it," and he just made the sound go away. It's like, oh, you're still phasing it out, but that annoying sound.
Yeah.
And I like the way everybody was like, "Yeah, that sound was annoying." So it was a kind of little funny little insert right there. I did like that.
And I liked how he kept saying, "It's just cosmetic."
Yeah.
It's just cosmetic.
Oh man, what was I going to say? Oh, there was another reference. Because when you see like that alien ship with a bunch of different freaks, you got to automatically think, okay, they're going to sneak in some stuff here. They're going to sneak in some stuff because there's all these different kinds of characters. So that's where they're going to put stuff in. There was another one when they said Ensign Jenna was exposed to Delta radiation, and she wheels into that little hovercraft wheelchair. That was exactly like Captain Pike in the original series, played by our buddy. Oh, nuts. Because there have been like 4 different Captain Pikes. Sean Kenny. Sean Kenny played this particular one of the injured Captain Pike with the boop, boop little thing. So that was an exact reference. And it's also the same thing that injured him. And we'll probably see that happen in the new Strange New Worlds series that's about Captain Pike. So we know at some point that could happen in the series.
Well, and there was a few of them, weren't there? in the background. There's a few of them in those little over wheelchairs.
Oh, maybe I missed them then.
Yeah, I saw the first one, and then a few more in the background. So
I missed those.
Did you guys understand why the return of the artificial gravity made everything rip apart from the slime stuff?
because it used energy to grow and to initiate the internet, the gravity. You have to turn the power back on. Essentially, that's what I got from it.
Sounds like I would have gotten that if I had been listening at that point, because I knew that they explained it, but then because they said something, and then she said, "Oh no, don't turn on the gravity," and then they did it, but I missed what it was.
It was something about the power, right? The power supply or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So, I don't know. I think I was more enthused about this episode than you guys were. I mean, it had the 3 plots, and the B and C plot kind of came together. We also did get something, like I said early on in previous episodes, I wanted something different than Boimler and Mariner together always, and Rutherford and Tendi together always. And this was certainly a different dynamic, which was great. Mariner's off with the substitute team, and Boimler is a mess as always, and Rutherford is kind of in and out there. Dr. Ta'ana is kind of in and out there. It was a lot more of a mixture of things, and I like it better that way.
Yeah. It was a nice mix. I have a question, though. I don't know why, and maybe they'll explain this later on in this show, but I don't know why Mariner is so opposed to moving ahead. It seems like she sabotages herself a lot because she wants to remain an ensign, and I don't know why she wants to remain an ensign. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, they've been teasing that all season, and I'm sure we are going to get the answer to that, just like we're going to get the answer to what happened between her and her parents. That's really what they're doing, is they're building up that interest for us, like saying, oh, here's another thing, and here's another thing. And it's all leading to what caused this with Mariner. There was an incident that happened or something that made her say, I'm just going to stay an ensign for now.
Yeah. I'm curious.
She alludes to something in this episode, like, oh yeah, well maybe one day I could be a captain, or maybe one day I could do this. So she kind of has considered it. It's crossed her mind at least at some point,
right.
Like, I could move up and have more of a responsibility on the ships. So she's thought about it, but then she also, in that same kind of soliloquy, talks about, well, why can't I just be a really good ensign?
Yeah.
And she's like, what's wrong with that? Why do we have to kind of aspire to move up? Why can't I just be really good at this? And
yeah, and Chief O'Brien and Harry Kim are like, here.
Like that's it. That's the spirit.
Yeah.
Well,
who needs a promotion?
Yeah, but isn't Chief O'Brien a different part?
Right. Yeah, he's more like enlisted or something like that.
Right.
But that means he's happy with just not moving up in the ranks. And Harry Kim, I don't think he's chosen to not be promoted. He just never did in 7 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
But since Cirroc mentioned responsibility, I'm wondering if something happened where she was in charge of a mission and something happened that went wrong. So maybe she doesn't want the responsibility anymore.
Right.
Have people under her, so it's safer to remain an ensign. I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. It's crazy because she's as much as she is not the Starfleet, cast material where you're just thinking, okay, she's the best of Starfleet. She's also the best of Starfleet. So on the one hand, she's not. On the other hand, she's, when shit hits the fan and things start going really crazy, she jumps into, hero mode and knows what to do to save the day. Like she's always like, all right, let's figure this out. So in the critical moments when it always matters, so far, she has shown that she's able to step up to the plate and handle whatever is in front of her.
Right. And they also did mention that when they were in school that she was the one who followed the rules and did everything right and was supposed to be the first one to be captain. So
Right.
what happened between then and now to change that? Because now she is very capable and she knows what she's doing, and but she is constantly sabotaging herself so she doesn't get promoted.
Right.
Yeah, but her friend in this one, in this episode, said something like, "You must have heard that I was going to transfer you to some ship or something, right?" I forgot the name of it, but
right.
she had an ulterior motive. Like she wasn't inviting her to be the number one on her ship. She really had a long distance plan to like transfer her over somewhere else. So it was like that wasn't really what a friend would do, really, in my opinion. That was kind of sideways.
Well, I think she wanted to promote her and bring her onto her own ship because she thought she was a badass. So she was like, I expected her to see the same person that I knew in school and have her be my number one on my ship and take her away from the ship she's on right now.
The Cerritos, yeah.
Right. Well, speaking of her ship, can we just take a moment to give a shout out to Oaktown, the town in the house, because that's what she's serving on, the USS Oakland, which is another California city and also a very storied city, a very storied sports city. I'm from the Bay Area, so I've been to a lot of games at the Oakland Coliseum and the Oakland Arena. It was nice to see some love for the town. Shout out to the town. Also, I'm ashamed of myself that this was the first thing I said, but you know how a couple times I've mentioned Chain of Command on Next Generation, and both times afterwards I was like, oh no, wait, that was Descent, or that was, some other one. There were two references from Chain of Command, and I swear they were from Chain of Command this time. Number one was Edward Jellicoe, who was the captain that took over for Captain Picard in Chain of Command. I think, again, I haven't seen these in like 20 years, but I'm pretty sure that was his, was it? No. Yeah, Chain of Command. Anyway, because he's talking with the Cardassians, whatever. Anyway, but especially the one that was even cooler and more subtle than that, besides the coolest captain in the history of Star Trek, who is Edward Jellicoe. The other one was when the captain, the commander, and the chief of security of the Cerritos go off on their mission and they're dressed in all black. Those outfits were exactly like what Picard, Crusher, and Worf were wearing in the episode of Chain of Command. At the beginning, they go off on like an away mission in the caves, just like in this thing, and they're wearing that exact outfit. And that was a very good reference to Chain of Command.
So how do you think the process for that works? Like the writers are in the room and they're like, okay, 6 things. Give me 6 things from old Star Trek episodes. I got one. Chain of Command. The outfits they're wearing. I've got remember the jelly thing that the aliens turned it into on Voyager, the Salamander? Let's put Salamander on the list. And then they just try to
match it.
Yeah, just throw it in there and just say, all right, let's, like, how
that would be a fun way to write.
Right? Like how is the process? Like, because these are very specific references that you're talking about. And
it's almost like they have like 200 references in a hat, and they pull 10 of them out and they go, okay, this is what we're writing an episode with these.
Yeah. I got Jellicoe. What do you got? I got the Salamander. Yes.
Oh, good. We could work this. Okay. I'm getting something. I'm getting a cube.
Any dog. 3-legged, 3-armed things. Yes. What about that episode? I don't know how they piece this stuff together because it's like so much backtracking you have to do throughout like so many different Star Trek episodes.
And
No, Melissa?
I don't know how they match it. And I have a question, and maybe I've missed it, and maybe it's been answered. I don't know what episode we're on, but what time period does this take place? Because they
2380, I think it is, which is basically like a year after Nemesis. Voyager comes back and Nemesis comes back. So really, where all of the 90s Star Trek ends, a year after that. So right after Voyager ends, right after the final Next Generation movie. So it's right after that.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Because I noticed because one, they often referenced a lot of TNG and not so much of the Voyager or Deep Space Nine stuff. So I was like, so maybe they're in that age, but then that old young guy was wearing a more
that old young guy
uniform that we saw in the later seasons of Deep Space Nine. So I was just like, so what time does this take place? Because they're kind of focusing on one show, but their costuming is different than that.
You're talking about the gray Deep Space Nine uniform with the gray top? Mm-hmm. Well, that was also featured in the later Next Generation movies as well, like First Contact, and I think all the three after Generations, I believe.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it does seem like there are more Next Generation references than anything else. So yeah. Maybe we'll have to ask Mike McMahon, is Next Generation your favorite series? I think you've outed yourself.
I know. I was just like, okay, where's the Deep Space Nine references? Where's the Nog reference? Where's Captain Nog?
Where is it?
He deserves a reference.
We got 3 episodes left.
We're giving a shout out to O'Brien. I think that's the only one we got on our show that's gotten a shout out so far.
Well, there was also the image of Deep Space Nine. There was also the uniforms. Not a ton. You're right. Let me take a quick glance over at my notes. Worf was mentioned, but that's also could be Next Generation.
And O'Brien can straddle both too.
You're right. Well, you got some splaining to do, Mike McMahon.
Yeah,
have to hold his feet to the fire and find out. We only have a minute left. There was one other thing when the snot takes over that ship or whatever I think she called it snot, so I was calling it snot. Takes over the ship. It kind of looked similar to the encounter at Farpoint squid alien in the first episodes of Next Generation. Probably not that because they were more like saucers with legs dangling, and this was more
like
everything else. Yeah, but it was very similar to that, so it definitely reminded me of it. Any final thoughts on this one, guys?
I just wanted to get this one line in that I really liked. Boimler always gets things wrong. Things always go the opposite way for him. So when he finally gets cured of the transporter accident, glowing, phasing in, phase out thing, that's when all the girls really jump on him and they want to be with him. And he's like, he's not a freak anymore. And then his answer was, I have acid reflux.
That's kind of freaky.
and I like that line. I just wanted to throw that in there. I thought it was hilarious.
Yeah. They go, oh, we got dibs on this freak. This guy's obviously a freak.
Like, no, actually, he's been cured. He's not a freak anymore. He's like, oh, come on, would you shut up?
Yeah, good stuff there. Yeah. Great. Well, that was fun. This was episode number 7. We have 3 more to look forward to. Fingers crossed for Captain Nog. Some kind of Nog reference in there. It still might happen. Malissa, thank you so much for joining us. Everybody at home, in the description box of this video, we'll leave a link for Melissa's awesome online store, Walking Art Made by Malissa. It's got all kinds of good stuff, including that shirt right there. Or maybe not, but you do have.
Very good.
Great.
Yeah.
And a bunch of really good stuff. Check it out. We'll include the link. And stay tuned for the next video that we'll do. at some point.
At some point.
See you guys next time on The Seventh Rule.